Thanks for listening to the ArtTactic podcast. I'm your host, Adam Green. In this edition of Behind the Report, we take a look at our brand new report, Modern and Contemporary African Artists. The African art market surged back into action during 2021 and has registered the highest auction sales total on record. That's been fueled by many things, including a strong interest in a young generation of African artists. This trend is likely to continue this year in 2022, with 70% of experts surveyed in our annual Art Market Outlook report expressing a positive view on the African art market. So to what extent has the market grown? Well, auction sales of modern and contemporary African artists surged by over 44% in 2021, from 50.2 million in 2020 to 72.4 million last year. This is the highest total ever for the African modern and contemporary auction market. We saw that growth as a result of average prices going up by more than 20% and volume increased by over 19%. So if we dig into the numbers, we see a few very interesting trends. First, auction sales of young contemporary African artists generated almost $25 million in sales this past year. That was a significant uptick of over 121% from 2020. Additionally, female artists accounted for 40% of these sales, and 80% of auction sales by young African artists were sold through post-war and contemporary auctions in London, New York, Hong Kong, and Paris. So we are seeing these African artists being sold across the world. While Africa is a big continent, we especially saw sales rise for West African artists. They saw a huge leap in 2021. The auction market for West African art saw a 111% jump in auction sales to 29.2 million. That was versus a pre-sale estimate of 15 to 22.6 million. Meanwhile, West African modern contemporary art accounted for nearly 40% of total sales. That's up from only 27.5% in 2020 and 16.2% in 2019. The top 5 artists there were Anwako Boafu, Elan Atsui, Abudia, Toyin Ojiodutula, and Ben Nwanwu. Thanks so much for listening to this edition of Behind the Report. To download and read our brand new Modern and Contemporary African Artist Report, you can visit arttactic.com today.